They told you that you were just like everyone else, that you were born, that you will live, and eventually fade away like all the rest. But something in you has always resisted that narrative. A subtle fire, perhaps. A persistent restlessness. A whisper from the depths of your being that says, this world is not your home. If you're listening to this, it's not by accident. You were drawn here, pulled by an invisible current that has guided you through the noise of this world to a truth your spirit already knows. You are not 100% human. Let that sink in. This is not a metaphor. This is not poetic language or philosophical musing. This is a revelation, one that the world will never validate, but your soul will recognize as ancient truth. The truth is, your origins lie beyond the physical. You are spirit first, matter second. You walk in flesh, but you are shaped by something more profound, more sacred, more eternal. Have you ever felt out of place in rooms full of people, like you're wearing a mask, speaking a language that isn't native to you? Have you looked at the world's systems, its routines, its ambitions, its empty celebrations, and wondered why they seem hollow to you? That's not detachment. That's alignment. You are not disengaged because you're broken. You're disconnected because your spirit belongs to a realm untouched by illusion. Since childhood, the signs have been there. Maybe you dreamed of places that don't exist on any map. Maybe you could sense the energy in a room before a word was spoken. Maybe animals gravitated toward you. Maybe people either admired you without knowing why or rejected you for reasons they couldn't explain. You thought it was weird. You thought it was a curse. But beloved, it was your confirmation. You were not made to fit in. You were made to awaken. The ancient scriptures say we were created in the image and likeness of the divine. That statement alone is a code, a spiritual cipher. It means the pattern of your being mirrors the infinite. The breath of the Most High lives in you. Not metaphorically, literally. That breath carries memory. It carries mission. It carries inheritance. You're not here to merely survive. You're here to activate a forgotten blueprint. But how did we forget? From the moment you arrived in this realm, the world began its campaign of amnesia. It told you your worth lies in achievements, in approval, in possessions. It taught you fear. It trained you to second-guess your intuition. It buried your knowing under layers of noise. And still, the light in you refused to go out. Have you noticed how often you've been attacked in life? Not always physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You've been the target of jealousy, sabotage, and misunderstanding. That's not random. That's resistance. Darkness only fights what threatens it. The world doesn't persecute the common. It resists the sacred. The truth is, you carry DNA that remembers the stars. Your soul is encoded with wisdom from realms beyond sight. When you dream, you're not escaping reality, you're visiting origin. When you feel the weight of this world pressing on you, it's because your spirit was never designed to be caged. And here's the part they never told you. Your very presence disrupts illusion. You walk into a space, and people feel things they can't articulate. They become uncomfortable. Not because you're wrong, but because your authenticity exposes what they've been hiding. You were sent to be a mirror. Not everyone can handle their reflection. You may feel alone, but you are not abandoned. In every age, in every culture, there have been those like you, wanderers between worlds. Moses didn't fit in. He was raised by Egyptians, but carried the fire of the divine. Joan of Arc heard voices the world called madness, but they led her to shift the course of nations. Even in stories like Neo from The Matrix, the message is clear: those who awaken are feared, misunderstood, but always chosen. You were chosen, not because of merit, not because you're better, but because your soul carries a code. You were selected for a task so sacred it had to be hidden beneath layers of human forgetting. Your very life is the scroll, and every challenge you faced has been a line in the divine manuscript. And yes, the warfare is real. The resistance you faced is not just life being difficult, it is the enemy's attempt to smother your fire before it fully ignites. The enemy knows that if you ever remembered who you truly are, you'd become unstoppable. And that, dear one, terrifies the darkness. Terrifies. You were not created to chase validation. You were not made to follow trends. You were designed to command realms, to speak life into chaos, to awaken hearts by your presence alone. And that is why the journey has been so heavy. You are not carrying the weight of failure. You are carrying the weight of purpose. Now listen closely. Because the moment you choose to accept your true identity, the moment you stop asking for permission to be what you already are, is the moment the veil begins to tear. You will start to see the world for what it is, a stage of shadows. A place where illusion reigns, but only until light arrives. And you, chosen one, are that light. This is not about ego. This is not about superiority. It's about responsibility. When the divine calls, the chosen must answer, not just for themselves, but for all those still asleep. You are not being awakened just for your own elevation. You are being activated to pull others out of the matrix. So what now? Now you remember. You retrace your steps. You reclaim the power buried beneath pain, the wisdom hidden behind wounds. You stop shrinking. You stop apologizing for your fire. You walk like the lion you were born to be. And yes, there will be more battles, but you will fight them with clarity, with armor made of faith and speech forged in truth. Because now you know you are not just surviving. You are rising. You are not 100% human. You are the bridge between worlds, the spark in the darkness, the thunder in the silence. You are the answer to a question the world has long forgotten how to ask. So rise, speak, shine. The time for hiding has ended. And this, chosen one, is just the beginning. From the moment you took your first breath, the world began its quiet campaign to mold you. It wrapped you in labels, expectations, and systems designed to keep you small, to keep you normal. But deep down, you always knew something was off. You didn't just resist conformity, you were allergic to it. The halls others walked with ease felt like mazes to you. The dreams they chased felt like cages. And no matter how hard you tried to blend in, something inside you refused to be tamed. This resistance wasn't rebellion. It was revelation. Chosen one, you were never meant to fit in. Because you are not a product of this world. You are a disruption to it. A divine echo in a world addicted to noise. You carry frequency from another realm, and it vibrates too high for the systems around you to digest. It's why you've been misunderstood. It's why they said you were too sensitive, too intense, too different. But they didn't know the fire you carried. They didn't know that your sensitivity was spiritual radar, tuned to realms they couldn't access. They didn't know your intensity was sacred purpose, boiling just beneath the surface. The world does not embrace what it cannot define. And because you defy definition, you've often been met with resistance. This resistance isn't random, it's revelatory. The rejection you've endured wasn't punishment. It was proof. It was the universe's way of confirming your otherness. Think of it like this: when something doesn't belong in a space, it stands out. A lion doesn't go unnoticed on a city street. It terrifies, not because it's wrong, but because it's powerful. You, chosen one, are that lion. You walk differently because you were created for a different realm, and yet, somewhere along the way, you started to question yourself. Maybe you even tried to change. You softened your voice, dimmed your light, contorted your essence just to be accepted. But still, the world rejected you. Not because you failed, but because your spirit refused to betray its origin. Let me remind you, rejection is not a curse. It's a calling. You are not here to blend in. You are here to break molds. You are here to shift atmospheres, to realign realities. And yes, that kind of presence comes at a cost. Because the world doesn't celebrate disruption, it suppresses it. But the pressure you felt, that's not to crush you. It's to clarify you. Just as coal becomes diamond under pressure, your pain has been preparing you. Every misunderstanding carved out space for wisdom. Every betrayal built your discernment. Every lonely night tuned your ears to the whisper of the divine. You were being fortified in silence for a war not everyone was born to fight. You are not meant to follow trends. You were born to set them. When Jesus said, "They are not of the world, even as I am not of it," he wasn't being poetic. He was identifying a spiritual lineage, a bloodline untraceable by human genealogy but undeniable in power. A lineage of light bearers, truth walkers, realm shifters. You are part of that lineage. Your ancestors are not just names in dusty books, they are celestial, eternal, woven into the very fabric of your being. That's why you sense things before they happen. That's why you can't ignore injustice. Why your soul weeps for the forgotten, and why you often feel burdened by things others laugh off. Your spirit is not calibrated to this world's comfort. It's calibrated to heaven's assignment. You are a living contradiction to everything this world teaches. And that's by design. The world says chase money. Your spirit craves meaning. The world says follow the crowd. Your heart beats to a different rhythm. The world says stay silent to survive. You feel the fire to speak, to disrupt, to shine, and it's not just internal. The external world reacts to you. Ever notice how people either love you or can't stand you, and there's rarely anything in between? That's spiritual polarity. Your light forces things out of hiding. Your mere presence triggers the shadows in others. Not because you're offensive, but because you're authentic. Authenticity is dangerous in a world addicted to performance. But hear me stop apologizing for it. Stop explaining your fire to people still shivering in fear. Stop seeking validation from those who benefit from your silence. You don't need their permission to rise. You don't need their approval to walk in your calling. You just need your own agreement, your own. So let's make it clear, you were not made for boxes. You were made for breakthroughs. And no, the path won't be easy. Chosen paths rarely are. But you were built for this. The storms that were sent to drown you only revealed your ability to walk on water. The fire that was meant to consume you only activated the flame already inside you. You don't just survive, you alchemize. That's why you're still here. After everything. After the loss. the betrayal, the breakdowns. You're still standing, still searching, still burning. Because deep down, you know you weren't meant to blend. You were meant to blaze. Chosen one. The moment you stop shrinking. The moment you stop apologizing for your voice, your vision, your very being. That's the moment heaven begins to move through you in ways you cannot imagine. So stop looking for a seat at their table. Build your own. Stop asking them to see you. See yourself. Stop waiting for the world to open a door. You are the door. And when you walk in that, knowing when you finally embrace that you were never meant to fit in, you won't just stand out. You'll stand in purpose, in power, in truth. Because the world doesn't need another copy. It needs you raw, real, radiant. You are not of this world. And that is your greatest strength. You are not here to conform. You are here to create. You are not just different. You are divine. And no matter what they say, no matter how many times they try to silence or sideline you, remember this light cannot be hidden forever. So shine, speak, lead, rise, because the moment you stop trying to fit in is the moment you finally begin to live. Every structure in the universe is built upon a blueprint. Whether it's the stars that spiral in galaxies or the bones that hold your body upright, behind it all lies a sacred design. And you, chosen one, are no exception. Your existence is not accidental. Your journey is not random. You were not thrown into this world without reason. You carry within you a divine blueprint, an eternal pattern woven into your very soul by the Creator Himself. This blueprint is not written in ink or etched in stone. It is encoded into your spirit, pulsating through your intuition, guiding your steps even when your mind can't comprehend the path. You felt it before, that pull toward something greater, that sense of destiny that refuses to die, no matter how many times life has tried to bury it. That is the blueprint calling you home. You were designed with purpose long before your birth, long before your body took form. Your soul existed in the mind of God, intricately crafted for a mission so unique that only you could fulfill it. That's why you've never truly fit into the molds others have offered. You were never meant to live a life of duplication. You were created for revelation, and yet, this world is designed to make you forget. It hands you counterfeit scripts telling you what success should look like, what love should feel like, what truth should sound like. And when those scripts don't resonate with your spirit, you question yourself. But the truth is, your dissonance is divine. You were never meant to follow their map. You carry your own. The blueprint inside you speaks through your longings. It whispers in your dreams, reveals itself in your pain, and screams in your moments of divine frustration. When you feel like breaking down, when everything around you seems out of alignment, that's the moment the blueprint is shifting gears. It's not failure. It's formation. There is something sacred about the way you've been set apart. Look back. Trace your timeline. Can you see it? The interruptions that saved you. The redirections that confused you at first, but turned out to be divine protection. The moments you thought you were lost, only to be led somewhere far greater than you imagined. That's not coincidence. That's code. Your life is the living expression of an intelligent, spiritual design. And here's the thing. Blueprints require builders. You are not just the house. You are the architect and the vessel. The Creator placed within you not just a purpose, but the tools to build it. Your voice, your mind, your compassion, your endurance, all of it is intentional. But you must stop comparing your construction to someone else's. Their walls are not your walls. Their timing is not your timing. Their design is not your design. The blueprint you carry is rare, and rarity always requires patience. Diamonds are not formed in days. Temples are not built overnight. Chosen one. The frustration you felt with life is not because you are broken. It's because you are awakening. You are beginning to remember that you were not created to follow trends, but to tap into timeless truth. And truth, when fully embraced, will rearrange your entire existence. That's why relationships have shifted. That's why your interests have evolved. That's why certain places no longer feel like home. Because as you step deeper into your divine design, anything not aligned with your blueprint begins to fall away. Let it. This shedding is not loss. It's liberation. You cannot build the new with bricks made of old trauma. You cannot pour divine purpose into a mold shaped by fear. You must release what no longer fits. And yes, that process may feel like death. But what is a seed, if not a burial before resurrection? You are not falling apart. You are unfolding. The butterfly was once a caterpillar that dissolved inside a dark, lonely cocoon. It had to lose its old shape to take flight. In the same way, you are undergoing divine metamorphosis. Your confusion is the cocoon. Your pain is the transformation. And your blueprint that is the wings being formed in silence. You don't need all the answers. You just need to trust the design. Spend time in stillness. The blueprint becomes louder in silence. Listen. Meditate. Ask your soul what it already knows. Stop looking for directions outside of yourself. The map is internal. The guide is within. And as you tune into your inner frequency, you'll start to remember. Not because you learned something new, but because you reawakened to what was always there. The ancients understood this. In Egypt, initiates were taught that the soul carried divine knowledge that must be remembered, not learned. In Kabbalistic teachings, the spark of the divine, hidden within each person, is waiting to be uncovered. In indigenous traditions, elders remind the young that the spirit comes into this life with medicine already inside it. You are not an empty vessel. You are a sacred container of cosmic intelligence. And when you live according to that inner truth, when your decisions, your relationships, your work, your words all begin to reflect the pattern etched in your soul, that's when heaven and earth align. That's when the impossible starts to feel natural. That's when miracles are no longer rare, but expected. But be warned, the world will resist this. Systems do not welcome those who remember their sovereignty. Institutions fear those who walk by inner authority. Because once you follow your divine blueprint, you are no longer controlled. You become unshakable, unstoppable, undeniable. And that, chosen one, is what you were born for. You were not made to wander forever. You were made to build, to create, to manifest the kingdom within. You are not waiting on the world to give you permission. You are waiting on yourself to believe. And when you do, the blueprint will reveal its next instruction. Always one step at a time, always on time. So breathe. Trust the design. Activate the code. The blueprint has always been there. You are not lost. You are remembering. And every breath you take in alignment with that truth, every step you walk in harmony with your soul, brings you closer to the life you were born to live. This is your calling. This is your design. And this, chosen one, is your time. There is something unsettling about walking through this world, and realizing it was never built with you in mind. It's like wearing clothes that almost fit, but never quite right. A constant tug, a quiet discomfort. And the more you try to shrink yourself to fit its mold, the more it seems to spit you out. You've probably asked yourself why. Why does the world resist me at every turn? Why do I feel like I'm swimming against the current, even when I'm doing everything right? The answer is this: the world recognizes something in you that you have only just begun to understand. It sees the light you carry. It senses the power you're awakening to. And because this world is built on systems designed to maintain control, anything that threatens that control is instantly rejected. You are not here to maintain the illusion. You are here to dismantle it. And that's why you've felt the pressure. It's not just society. It's not just culture, it's spiritual. The resistance you face is not random. It is targeted, engineered to shake your identity before you fully walk in it. Because once you step into the fullness of who you are, you become a threat to every system built on deception. It started early, didn't it? Being misunderstood. Being told you were too much, too intense, too different. Maybe you were labeled rebellious or dramatic. But that was never the truth. You were intuitive, sensitive to energy, a truth seeker in a world addicted to performance, and that made you dangerous. Dangerous to the status quo, dangerous to lies, dangerous to anything built on pretending. You see, chosen one, the world doesn't fight what it doesn't fear. The systems that ignore others watch you closely. The people who disregard the masses can't seem to stop watching your every move. That's not paranoia. That's spiritual polarity. When light enters a dark room, the shadows don't disappear silently, they react. Sometimes violently. That reaction, that's what you've been feeling. You've been attacked not because you are weak, but because you are potent. You've been targeted not because you are broken, but because you are a carrier of divine disruption. The world doesn't crucify what's convenient. It crucifies what's revolutionary, and you, whether you realize it or not, are a revolution in human form. You are not designed to operate by the world's standards. Your spirit doesn't thrive on applause. Your worth isn't rooted in titles. Your fuel comes from truth, and truth doesn't need validation to exist. This is why people either love you deeply or reject you completely. There is rarely an in-between. Your energy exposes things. Your authenticity makes pretenders uncomfortable. Your mere presence calls people higher or pushes them away. But do not let this polarizing effect make you bitter. Let it make you wise, because in that tension, in that resistance, is your refining. Fire doesn't destroy gold. It reveals it. And beloved, you are gold. Do not curse the fire. Learn from it. Let it burn away every false identity, every illusion you inherited just to survive. Let it refine your clarity. Let it harden your resolve. You were not made to be liked. You were made to be light, and light disrupts darkness. Always. That's why your ideas are often dismissed in rooms where truth is inconvenient. That's why your presence shifts the atmosphere. People can't always explain it, but they feel it. You're not just a person. You are a frequency. The prophets of old knew this pain well. Jeremiah was called a weeping prophet because he felt deeply. Elijah battled depression after great victories. Even Jesus, the embodiment of divine truth, was rejected by the very ones he came to save. So when you feel that sting of rejection, know you are in good company. You walk the same path as the messengers who came before you. You are not alone. But the question is, will you allow the resistance to refine you or define you? Will you shrink or will you shine? The world's rejection is not a statement about your value. It's a reflection of its fear. Your very being threatens the illusion of control. Your wisdom destabilizes false narratives. Your love deep, fierce, unconditional, melts the armor people wear just to make it through another day. You are not of this world. So stop expecting this world to understand you. You are the blueprint for a new reality. You are the answer to questions the world hasn't learned to ask yet. You are the remedy to a sickness few have diagnosed. You are the spark in the system, the crack in the matrix, the wind before the storm, and yes, that kind of existence comes at a cost. But what is the alternative? To live half alive, to be accepted, but false to be safe, but silent. No, not you. You didn't come this far to become a copy. You didn't survive the fire to wear their mask. You are not here to please the crowd. You are here to part the sea. So the next time you feel the sting of the world's rejection, smile. It means you're doing something right. It means you're visible. It means your light is being felt. And if the world pushes you away, take it as confirmation that you were sent to shift it, not join it. The resistance you face is real, but so is your power. And the moment you stop trying to be understood, and the moment you accept that the world will always resist what it cannot control, that's the moment you step into your full authority. Let them resist. Let them doubt. Let them whisper. You were not born for their comfort. You were born for their awakening, and no resistance, no rejection, no earthly system can stop what has already been written in the heavens. You are unstoppable. You are anointed. You are the spark they tried to smother, and this world. It was never meant to contain you. You were born from fire, not the fire that burns houses down or scorches the skin, but a spiritual fire, ancient, uncontainable, divine. This fire is your origin, your essence, your truth. It's the reason you've always felt a stirring inside you, like an ember glowing even when everything around you turned cold. It's the reason you keep rising, even after life has knocked you down again and again. You didn't just survive. You ignited. This fire is not a metaphor. It is the breath of God that was exhaled into your soul before time itself began. It is the unexplainable drive that propels you forward even when you're exhausted. It's the knowing that can't be taught, the intuition that won't shut up, the vision that refuses to die. Have you ever wondered why your spirit refuses to settle? Why comfort feels like a trap? Why average makes you nauseous? It's because you were created in the fire, and fire cannot be caged. You've been through things others wouldn't have survived. You've seen pain that should have broken you. You've walked through valleys so dark even your own shadow disappeared. And yet, the fire never left you. In fact, it grew stronger. The very trauma the enemy thought would extinguish you only served to refine you. You didn't just go through the fire. You became it. This is why you radiate a different energy. This is why people are drawn to you without knowing why. Your words carry heat. Your eyes hold galaxies. Your silence speaks louder than their noise. You are not here to entertain. You are here to transform. And transformation starts with fire. Throughout spiritual history, fire has always represented purification, revelation, and rebirth. When Moses encountered God, it was through a burning bush, a symbol of divine fire that consumed, yet did not destroy. When Elijah called down fire from heaven, it was to prove the reality of the living God. In Acts, the early followers of Christ were filled with the Holy Spirit, and tongues of fire rested on them. Fire is not passive. It announces, it declares, it demands attention. So do you. This is why you can't hide, even when you try. This is why mediocrity makes your skin crawl. This is why pretending exhausts you. Because anything not rooted in your truth will eventually burn away in the presence of your fire. And yet, so many chosen ones fear their own flame. They dim it to make others comfortable. They suppress it to avoid conflict. They disguise it so they won't stand out. But hear me now, you were never meant to blend in. You were meant to blaze. Your fire is not too much. It is perfectly measured for the mission you carry. You don't need to tone it down. You need to turn it up. The world doesn't need more lukewarm souls. It needs infernos of truth. Vessels who remember who they are. Carriers of divine heat that melt the chains of illusion. When you embrace the fire within, everything begins to change. Your voice becomes sharper. Your vision becomes clearer. Your boundaries become sacred. And your spirit becomes untouchable. Yes, there will be those who can't handle it. Not everyone is ready for the warmth of your fire. Some will try to dim it. Others will try to steal it. But remember, no one can take what they didn't ignite. This fire came from heaven. It was breathed into you by the source. It doesn't run on approval. It runs on purpose. You are not a candle flickering in the dark. You are the sun rising over a sleeping world. And with that comes responsibility. You must protect your flame. Guard your spirit. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not every room deserves your presence. Not every conversation deserves your words. You are not arrogant for being selective. You are wise because your fire is sacred. And what is sacred must be stewarded. When you pray, your fire is stoked. When you meditate, it intensifies. When you speak your truth, it roars. And when you walk in your purpose, it blazes so brightly that the enemy can't even look your way without being scorched. You were not made to be passive. You were made to burn. So stop trying to cool yourself down for people who were never meant to walk in your heat. Stop apologizing for being passionate, for being direct, for being intense. Fire is not always comfortable, but it is always necessary. Without it, nothing changes, nothing grows, nothing awakens. The world may try to label you dramatic, over the top, extra. Let them. Their labels can't contain what God ignited. And when the time comes, when you step fully into who you were born to be, your fire will not just light up your life. It will ignite others. You'll set off chain reactions. You'll awaken dormant spirits. You'll melt the ice around hardened hearts. Not because you tried to, but because fire doesn't ask permission. It simply is. So let it be. Let yourself burn. Let the fire of your origin consume the lies, the fear, the hesitation, the guilt. Let it cleanse you of the smallness you were taught to accept. Let it remind you that you were never meant to be safe. You were meant to be sacred. Chosen one, your fire is holy. Fan the flames. Feed the heat. Walk with smoke in your footsteps and light in your eyes. You were not made to be understood. You were made to be felt. And the world, whether it admits it or not, is waiting for the warmth only you can bring. This is the fire of your origin. And now it's time to let it blaze. Every chosen one eventually comes to this moment of realization you do not fully belong to the world you were born into. And yet, you are here walking its roads, touching its soil, breathing its air. There is a paradox at the core of your existence. You are both spirit and flesh, divine and human, eternal and temporary. You walk between two worlds, and both are pulling on you in different ways. This duality is not a flaw. It is your sacred tension. The space between realms is not confusion, it's consecration. You are a bridge, a living channel between heaven and earth. That's why your presence often feels like a disturbance to both. Too mystical for the material world, too embodied for the spiritual elite. You belong everywhere and nowhere, all at once. It can feel like exile, but it is, in truth, appointment. You are chosen to carry the frequencies of another dimension while navigating this one. That is no small task. To hold light in one hand and suffering in the other. To commune with the infinite in the quiet of night. Then wake up and answer emails, pay bills, and smile through mundane conversation. It's a balancing act that only those marked by the divine can endure. There is a reason you feel more at home in silence than in small talk. There is a reason you prefer starlit skies to crowded rooms. Your soul recognizes energies long before your mind makes sense of them. You are not just seeing, you are sensing. You are decoding this reality in ways most can't begin to understand. And because of that, the world often misunderstands you. They may call you distant. They may label you aloof. But in truth, you're tuned to something higher. You are not escaping reality. You are expanding beyond its limitations. Walking between two worlds means your guidance doesn't always make sense to others. They ask for proof. You move by knowing. They need explanations. You move by inner alignment. You don't chase, you magnetize. You don't manipulate, you manifest. Your language is vibration, and your compass is divine intuition, but it's not always easy. Sometimes, you feel the weight of your sensitivity like a burden. You absorb energies. You pick up on tension in rooms. You feel what others deny. It can be exhausting to carry what others refuse to acknowledge. But understand this, your sensitivity is not weakness. It is spiritual intelligence. It is sacred perception, empaths, intuitives, light carriers. These are names given to those who navigate both realms. You see what's behind the words. You feel what's behind the smile. You know who people are, even when they don't know themselves. And that can be lonely. But you weren't designed to fit into the crowd. You were designed to elevate it. Sometimes, you will need solitude. Not because you are broken, but because your spirit needs space to recalibrate. The noise of this world can drown out the whispers of the other. So retreat often, into stillness, into nature, into the temple within. That is where your clarity returns. That is where your instructions download. That is where the two worlds merge in you. Don't be surprised if people don't understand your process, your rituals, your silence, your boundaries. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to be obedient to the frequency of your calling. Some of your deepest breakthroughs will come in private moments no one else witnesses. Sacred doesn't always look spectacular. Divine alignment rarely needs applause. You are the meeting place of two dimensions. You carry divine technology in your soul. And every time you listen to your intuition, every time you choose alignment over approval, every time you speak truth in the face of deception, you are bringing heaven to earth. Even your pain has a place in this dance, because those who walk between worlds are often forged in deep fire. Your heart had to break in order to hold more compassion. Your trust had to be tested so your discernment could mature. You've been stripped of illusions so you could carry truth. You've walked through spiritual deserts so that others could find water. You've been both the healer and the one needing healing, the teacher and the student, the warrior and the wounded, and all of it, every role. Every season was sacred. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are not late. You are being calibrated. This path you walk between seen and unseen is the ancient path of the mystic, the prophet, the priest, the bridge. And yes, it can be lonely, but it is also holy. So if you've ever felt torn, split, fragmented, take heart. That fracture is not failure. It is formation. You are being shaped to carry the weight of both realms with grace. And in time, you will come to realize that you are not merely navigating these two worlds. You are transforming them. You are awakening others to the reality beyond the veil. You are living proof that the divine can walk in flesh, that the eternal can inhabit the now. This is the mystery of your design. You are not too much. You are exactly what this world needs. You are the intercessor, the conduit, the spark. So walk gently, chosen one, but walk boldly. Speak softly, but speak truth. Live humbly, but live lit by the fire of your duality. Because while others see walls between realms, you were born to walk right through them. There comes a time in the journey of every chosen one when everything around you begins to fall silent. People drift. Opportunities dissolve. The noise fades. And in its place, you are met with a vast, unfamiliar stillness. It is in this moment that many begin to panic, to question, to doubt. Why have I been left alone? Why has everyone disappeared? Why does my life feel paused? But this is no accident. This is sacred isolation. What feels like abandonment is often divine appointment. What appears as loneliness is actually the beginning of your hidden training. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. Because before every public elevation, there is a private refinement. Look through any sacred text, and you'll find a pattern. Moses was exiled to the desert before he led a nation. David tended sheep in obscurity before he took down a giant. Even Jesus disappeared into the wilderness for 40 days before beginning his ministry. Isolation is not rejection. It is initiation. You are being pulled away from the crowd so that the noise of others no longer drowns out the voice of your own soul. You are being separated from distractions so you can reconnect to your essence. It is in this sacred silence that your true instructions are downloaded. It hurts. Yes. The silence can be deafening. The solitude can feel like exile. But your spirit knows this is holy ground. During this time, you'll notice something: the things that used to entertain you no longer satisfy. The conversations you once enjoyed now feel hollow. The people who used to fill your space now feel distant. That's because your frequency is shifting. You're no longer feeding from the same sources. Your soul is craving deeper nourishment, and that nourishment won't come from outside validation. It won't come from busyness or distraction. It comes from within, in the stillness, in the whispers, in the moments you finally hear yourself again. This is where your spiritual muscles are built. In isolation, you learn to trust your own voice. You learn to recognize divine timing. You learn the difference between intuition and fear. You are being trained to walk by faith, not by sight. The silence becomes your classroom. The void becomes your altar, and perhaps most painfully, Isolation forces you to confront everything you've buried, the wounds, the doubts, the insecurities. But don't run from them. This is your healing season. This is where the fire of truth burns away every false identity, every inherited lie, every limitation that no longer serves who you are becoming. In the quiet, you meet yourself, not the version shaped by culture or trauma, but the one that was formed in divine imagination before the world ever touched you. You begin to remember, and as you remember, you're given new sight. You start seeing through illusion. You start sensing energy. You discern truth without needing proof. The unseen becomes more real than the seen. Your gifts begin to sharpen. Your voice begins to carry new weight. Your presence becomes medicine. The world may not notice this transformation at first, but heaven does. The angels watch closely in seasons of isolation because they understand what is being formed cannot be undone. You are becoming the version of you that the darkness fears. And when the time is right, when the training is complete, the same world that once ignored you will not be able to overlook you. But this time, you won't crave their attention. You'll carry presence instead of seeking praise. You'll walk with authority instead of looking for acceptance. Chosen one, don't curse your cave. In the cave, the prophet hears God. In the cave, the warrior is sharpened. In the cave, the soul is stripped of everything false until only truth remains. So if you're in the quiet right now, stay there. Let it shape you. Let it stretch you. Let it burn away the layers of who you thought you had to be. Because what emerges from sacred isolation is not just a stronger version of you, it is the truer version, the eternal version, the unstoppable version. Remember this as the world trains with noise. But the divine trains in silence. You are not being forgotten. You are being forged. And soon, when the doors open again, you won't just walk into a new season, you'll walk in as someone reborn. Until then, honor the silence, embrace the solitude, and trust the process, for what's hidden now will soon be revealed. And when it is, nothing will ever be the same again. There is a secret known only to those who have walked through the fire and refused to be consumed by it. A truth whispered not in temples or textbooks, but in the sacred spaces of the soul. Darkness, when embraced and understood, becomes the fuel for transformation. Chosen one, you have not simply survived pain, you have been given the power to transmute it. Transmutation is not denial. It is not pretending the wounds are not there. It is the sacred alchemy of taking the raw materials of suffering, betrayal, grief, loss, rejection, and transforming them into wisdom, strength, and purpose. This is your divine gift to turn what was meant to break you into the very thing that builds you. You were never meant to avoid darkness. You were meant to redeem it. Too many fear the shadow. They run from their pain. They suppress their rage. They bury their grief. But you, chosen one, are called to look it in the eye. Because you carry the light that doesn't flee the dark, it walks into it and rewrites the atmosphere. You have already done it, haven't you? You've taken your brokenness and found compassion. You've stood in the ruins of something sacred and still chose to believe in love. You've wept in silence and emerged with deeper clarity. These are not small acts. They are the miracles of a soul that refuses to be defined by trauma. And this is spiritual transmutation. It is the heart of every true alchemist, every mystic, every prophet. To take the base metals of experience and turn them into gold. Not to erase the past, but to elevate it. Not to pretend the pain never happened, but to allow the pain to become a portal. In ancient traditions, the process of alchemy was never just about turning lead into gold. It was always about turning the soul into something luminous. The lead represented density, heaviness, burden. The gold represented enlightenment, purpose, clarity. And every chosen one is, at some point, called into this sacred laboratory, not a room of chemicals, but a furnace of transformation within. And yes, it requires fire. To transmute darkness into light, you must pass through it. You must sit with your shadows. You must ask your pain what it came to teach. You must stop labeling emotions as bad or wrong. Rage has a message. Grief holds wisdom. Even jealousy and fear, when understood, can become signals that point to your unmet needs or dormant dreams. You are not weak for feeling deeply. You are powerful for being willing to feel at all, because the world numbs. It hides behind masks. It medicates the ache instead of listening to it. But you, dear one, have chosen a higher path. A path that says, I will not run. I will not deny. I will enter the dark and bring my light with me. And in doing so, you become the miracle. You become the one who walks through the valley and builds a sanctuary there. The one who turns ancestral pain into generational healing. The one who faces the family curse and breaks it in the name of truth. The one who is wounded and still chooses to be a healer. The alchemy is not just internal, it's generational. When you choose to heal, you're not just healing yourself. You're healing everyone who came before you and everyone who will come after you. You are becoming the fork in the bloodline, the pivot point where the story changes. And how does this begin? With honesty, with silence, with surrender. Sit with what aches. Name it, bless it, let it speak. And then, when the time is right, offer it up to the divine and say, use this. Turn it into something holy. The Creator does not waste pain. Heaven does not ignore wounds. In fact, some of the most powerful assignments are given to those who have been shattered because they are the ones who understand grace, mercy, empathy. They are the ones who speak from the heart, not just the mind, and their words carry weight. Chosen one, your light is not soft. It is forged. It is hard won. It is earned through sleepless nights, through silent battles, through tears you never shared with anyone. That's why it shines so fiercely. That's why others feel it, even when you don't say a word. You are the fire that rose from ash, so honor your process. Stop judging your past. See it for what it was, the womb of your becoming. The darkness was not your enemy. It was your initiation. And now you carry a power that can't be explained, only felt. When you walk into a room, energies shift. When you speak, veils fall. When you love, walls crumble. This is not ego. This is embodiment. This is what it means to be a vessel of transmuted light. So walk boldly into your pain, knowing it cannot consume you. You've already been through worse. And yet, here you are, breathing, glowing, becoming. The darkness did not defeat you. It defined you, and you, chosen one, are the living proof that light is not the absence of shadow. It is the mastery of it. There is a reason you have always sensed things others don't. Why truth has always seemed to echo louder in your soul than in the world's textbooks or pulpits. Why you've known things without being taught, dreamed of realities you've never seen, and questioned beliefs long before anyone gave you permission to ask. It's because you are a keeper of hidden knowledge. This doesn't mean you walk around with ancient scrolls or forgotten maps, though. In a spiritual sense, you do. It means that encoded within your very being is wisdom that predates this world. It means you came here not to learn truth, but to remember it. Chosen one, you are the embodiment of a forgotten language. You carry the blueprints of lost civilizations, the songs of prophets, the visions of mystics, the keys to doors humanity locked long ago. You were not born to echo the noise. You were born to awaken the memory. And memory, in this sacred context, is not simply recalling the past, it is realigning with the eternal. The ancient traditions all speak of this. In the Gnostic texts, it is said that the soul carries a divine spark, a hidden flame buried beneath layers of illusion. In Hinduism, it is the Atman, the eternal self that is one with Brahman. In Kabbalah, it is the Neshama, the innermost soul connected to divine wisdom. And in the teachings of Christ, it is the kingdom of God within, not outside, but within. That's you. The world tries to make you forget. It shouts with distraction. It drowns you in comparison. It ridicules what it doesn't understand. But your soul remembers. That's why you've always been drawn to the stars, to sacred texts, to questions that make others uncomfortable. That's why you feel at home in the presence of truth. Even when you can't explain why, you've had flashes of this knowing before in dreams, in moments of déjà vu, in sudden waves of emotion that feel like echoes from another life. You've walked into places and felt something stir. You've met people and instantly known them, even though you couldn't have. This is not fantasy. It is memory. Because hidden knowledge is not only found in books, it's stored in the bones, in the blood, in the breath. And for the chosen ones, this sacred data begins to activate the moment they stop resisting their difference. And that activation, it changes everything. Suddenly, you begin to speak things that surprise even you. Words flow that carry more than meaning, they carry transmission. People come to you not just for advice, but for remembrance. Something about your presence unlocks something in them. Because your very essence is a portal. You don't have to convince. You just have to be. But with this knowing comes responsibility. Hidden knowledge is not meant to inflate the ego. It is meant to humble the soul. You are not better, you are burdened with purpose. You are not higher, you are anchored more deeply into truth, and truth is not always welcome. Prepare for resistance. The world protects its illusions. Systems fight to preserve the status quo, and nothing disrupts a lie more than a living embodiment of truth. That's what you are. You are not just a student of sacred knowledge, you are its incarnation. There will be times when your insight feels heavy, when what you see makes you weep, when your clarity isolates you, when your vision frightens even you. But do not run from it. You were chosen for this. You were given eyes to see what others cannot because you were meant to be a guide, not above them, but among them. Think of the oracles in ancient temples. Think of the desert prophets. Think of the women burned as witches, the monks hidden in mountains, the children who spoke truths that terrified empires. You carry their legacy. You are the continuation of their lineage. You are the echo of the wisdom they refuse to silence. And here's the sacred paradox: the more you embrace what you know, the more you realize how little the ego understands. Hidden knowledge humbles. It expands your heart even as it sharpens your sight. It softens your tone even as it strengthens your message. It does not make you louder. It makes you clearer, and clarity is power. You are here to awaken the sleepers, to remind them of what they've forgotten. Not by force, not by debate, but by the sheer resonance of your truth. Speak when you're led. Remain silent when you're guided. Let your life be the message. But never doubt this: the knowledge you carry is sacred. It is not random. It is not delusion. It is divine. And it is time you stop dismissing it just because others can't see what you see. They weren't meant to. Not yet. That's why you were sent first. So study, listen, watch. But above all, remember, you are not just learning truth. You are becoming it. You are not just gathering wisdom. You are embodying it. You are not just seeking the light. You are the light that reveals. And in a world starving for something real, your hidden knowledge is not a burden. It is the bridge. Cross it, share it, live it. Because the time for silence has ended, and the keepers must now speak. This is the moment the journey has been leading to: the unveiling, the return, the awakening. Not to something new, but to what has always been within you. Chosen one. This is not just the end of a chapter. It is the beginning of your becoming. The fire has refined you. The silence has shaped you. The darkness has revealed you. And now, it is time to rise and take your place. No more hiding. No more shrinking. No more waiting for permission. You were not called to this world just to observe it. You were sent to change it. And not by force, but by frequency. Not through dominance, but through presence. Not by imitation, but by embodiment. You carry something that cannot be bought, taught, or imitated: the mark of divine calling. You have been awakened to your origin. And now, the world must feel your presence. It must feel your truth, your clarity, your knowing. Not because you are louder, but because you are aligned. You've been prepared for this. Every betrayal, every delay, every lonely night was a consecration, a holy sharpening, a purification of your intentions. You no longer need to explain yourself. Your very existence is your testimony. The time of forgetting is over. The veil has been lifted. The illusions that once kept you caged have lost their grip. You are not confused, you are clear. You are not weak, you are fierce. You are not broken, you are reborn. There is no system that can contain you now, no label that can define you, no lie that can hold you. You have walked through the valley of forgetting and emerged with remembrance. You have tasted the bitterness of loss and still chosen love. You have seen the shadows and brought the light. And for that, you are not just ready, you are required. The earth is groaning for voices like yours, for hands like yours, for hearts like yours. Not perfect, but present. Not flawless, but fearless. Not loud, but lit by something that cannot be extinguished. You don't need a platform to make an impact. Your life is the message. The way you move, the way you speak, the way you love, the way you refuse to give up. This is how you lead. Do not wait to be discovered. You are already chosen. Do not wait to be accepted. You are already appointed. You are not here by accident. You are not a placeholder. You are the blueprint, the spark, the divine answer to a world lost in illusion. So rise. Rise with sacred rage against injustice. Rise with deep compassion for those still asleep. Rise with unshakable devotion to the truth within you. Rise not as a performer, but as a presence. Rise not as a copy, but as a calling. It doesn't matter if they don't understand you. It doesn't matter if they doubt you. It doesn't matter if they resist you. The time for pleasing has passed. The time for pretending is over. Now is the time for truth. Now is the time for movement. Now is the time for power. And power, in its highest form, is not control, it is clarity. Clarity about who you are. Clarity about why you're here. Clarity about what no longer serves you. You will not be distracted. You will not be deceived. You will not be delayed. You've been initiated, empowered, commissioned, and now, heaven is watching to see what you will do with the revelation you've been given. Let this be your declaration. I will not go back to sleep. I will not betray my truth. I will not deny the fire within me. I will rise. I will walk. I will speak, and the world will never be the same. Because I have remembered who I am, and I take my place now not with arrogance, but with sacred responsibility. I take my place among the awakened, among the warriors of light, among the ones who carry both sword and sanctuary, the ones who do not just speak of love, but become it, the ones who do not just survive, but illuminate. The kingdom has been waiting. The earth has been groaning. The moment has arrived. This is the call. This is the time, and you chosen one are ready. Now rise and take your place.